platform, and today we're at Dartmouth College, where Bernie Sanders just spoke to students. Throughout the day, we've been asking students about what they think about Bernie Sanders. Although he's a millionaire who advocates for the rich to pay their fair share to the poor, he gives relatively low amounts to charity. What will students think about that? Let's take a look. What do you think about Bernie Sanders as a candidate?
I think he's definitely progressive. I think he's where our country needs at this point.
Well, I've been a Sanders fan since he launched his first bid for the presidency in 2016.
Yeah, I think he's a cool guy. He seems like chill.
I like his views on student debt a lot.
One of his platforms, as you probably know, is to help the poor.
Yep.
And I would argue that one of the best ways to help the poor is through charity. In 2016, when he wrote his book, he made millions of dollars. He became a millionaire. About what percent of his annual income do you think he gave to charity?
I'm gonna go with 7%.
40? 35.
It's like 20, 25.
I hope it's a substantial amount of what he earns if that's what he's trying to advocate for and if that's what his platform is on.
I'd say less than 10%. I know he got some pretty nice new houses.
75%?
Okay, would it be surprising if I told you he gave less than 1%?
Welcome back, everyone. And we just put that on the teaser pause for a little bit. We'll get to that in the next few seconds. But guess what, folks? You're watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. And as we said, this is what we have on tap for you. So we're talking to students, woke students, right? They're talking to them, asking about Bernie Sanders. And you saw the question, 30%, 40%. You know, this guy thought 75%. What will they find out when they find out that he gave only less than 1%? Let's go back and see what our woke students have to say about Bernie Sanders asking everyone to give till it hurts, but he doesn't give anything at all.
75%?
75%?
Would it be surprising if I told you he gave less than 1%?
I guess, yeah.
10%, 5%.
Okay, so it was actually less than 1%.
Good.
What if I told you it was less than 1%?
Hey,
He actually gave less than 1%.
Really?
If I told you he actually gave less than 1%, would you think that's hypocritical, that he's kind of advocating for like the millionaires and billionaires to pay back their fair share, yet he doesn't himself?
Yes, definitely.
Why would you think that?
Because if you're giving 1%, less than 1% of your annual income, you can't go and like rub and then millionaires face it when he's actually a millionaire. If you made a million from a book. But did you say whose name did you say before?
Bernie
Sanders.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Bernie.
Like this guy didn't hear it the first time. How many times you have to hear it? Bernie Sanders, Bernie BS, bull crap Sanders, bullshit, right? Bernie bullshit Sanders. That's who it is, buddy. Who else do you think it is? Come on now.
He gives, in 2016, when he made the most money that he has in any year, he gave less than 1%.
definitely not cool if that's what he's trying to praise.
Do you think it's hypocritical that he's advocating for the millionaires and billionaires to pay his fair share when he himself doesn't do so?
For sure. I'm not a particular Bernie fan.
What do you think about Bernie Sanders as a candidate?
I think he's definitely progressive. I think he's where our country needs at this point.
Gotta see that thing again, folks. Gotta see. They did a great rerun there. That was absolutely classic. That was classic. Let's watch that thing play through one more time because it was so fun. We got it queued up here. Let's go. And
it's hypocritical that he's advocating for the millionaires and billionaires to pay his fair share when he himself doesn't do so?
For sure. I'm not a particular Bernie fan.
What do you think about Bernie Sanders as a candidate?
I think he's definitely progressive. I think he's where our country needs at this point.
I mean, I just...
another freaking hypocrite, okay? Dartmouth College, what else do you expect? Another freaking... I don't know. Golly gee, I'm wondering what's going on around here. I don't know what's going on. Could you imagine if that had been, a conservative? That had been Trump or anybody else? I mean, they would be lighting into him. Absolutely lighting into him. Or anybody else. But because he's one of their guys, he's Democrat, Socialist, Marxist, quasi-communist, then it's like, whatever. Unbelievable with these students.
Say that it's his money and he can do what he wants.
Oh, did we just hear that correctly? It's his money and he can do what he wants with it? Wow. Is she conservative? Or is this just the mental gymnastics that are going on through now? Because see, now it's one of supposedly their guys. It's Bernie B.S. Sanders. And so, hey, you can't force people, to give their money away. That's not what we do here. I mean, just because, he can say that, he can tell everybody else to do it, right? It's your job to do it. You give till it hurts. We're going to tax you to death. We're going to take all your money and leave you a little bit. But you got to do it. But when Bernie Sanders, no, that's okay. It's his money. He can do whatever he wants with it. He wants it, he should keep it.
With it.
Would you guys think that's hypocritical that he's always talking about, the millionaires and billionaires paying their fair share, but he doesn't do so himself?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would want to know what he's doing with the rest of the money.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, he's always talking about the 1%. Maybe that's the 1% he gave to charity,
I don't believe that the best way to help the poor is by giving to charity. I mean, charity...
This idiot moron, okay? Another person, obviously from India or whatever, doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Idiot Bernie Sanders supporter. Oh, I don't really think that the best thing is because you probably never gave to charity. What do you think's going on in freaking India or whatever? I don't think that's the best thing to do, really, about that thing. I done things that's the best thing to do. And then, the charity's not the best way to do it. No, confiscating from here, having somebody else not doing it first. You follow somebody who basically says, don't do what I do, which is I keep my money, but you need to give more to the government. You need to pay more in taxes. We need to take more of your money. That's what these guys are about. Hypocritical, unbelievably socialist, Marxist, communist, fascist. You talk about that. Just want to take your money because they think they can do better with it than you can. That's what these guys are all about.
Sure, I mean, I think that charity, right, as a concept is something that, that should be core to every liberal, to every progressive, to every person, right? But the best way to support the poor is through systematic intervention, right? Government intervention.
Well, I know he refuses to pay his interns $15 an hour, and there's been a couple other occasions where he's kind of been a bit more hypocritical.
He's a millionaire, so he's alongside the millionaires, but he's giving less than 1%, but advocating for millionaires to give more than 1% theoretically, and that's very hypocritical.
Oh, well, hello there.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about, folks. For the most part, this kid and some of the others, at least they did admit for the most part that it was hypocritical of Bernie B.S. Sanders to be doing that. This guy's got, I don't know what they said, 2, 3, 4 homes, whatever. His wife is making, buku bucks. He has never held a job in his life. He's always lived on the government dole. And like I said, wrote the book, made a ton of money. And obviously in the top, not even the 1%, in the top half of 1%, basically, of the millionaire class. And listen, God bless him. God bless Bernie B.S. Sanders and his wife. You know what? Everything, if he's made it the right way, which it looks like he has, real estate, bought the homes, wife is earning some money, on his salary, investing, whatever, book deals and everything, speeches. Hey, that's the American way. That's the entrepreneurial spirit. That's capitalism. But what Bernie wants to do, see, is he's already made his. He's got his chunk already. He's carved out his niche. He's got his pension plan already paid up, obviously, through the government. He's got his health care protection. He's got his money. His wife's got a great cushy job with absolutely no skill set whatsoever, literally. And neither does Bernie Sanders. He doesn't have a skill set at all other than being old and having a little bit of a, I can't even do a good Bernie Sanders imitation. But that's what what skill set does Bernie have other than his age? And he can basically BS his way through a conversation. I guess that's the only skill set, really, that I can think of, other than talking you to death, basically, and just making it to the point where, you want to just start to vomit and puke at the verbal diarrhea that emanates, from this socialist Marxist, dogma that he keeps, spouting out there. But you got to understand one thing, folks. All these people want you to do. It's like rules for thee, but not for me. Rules for thee, but not for we. That's basically the mantra. Whenever you hear Bernie B.S. Sanders or any of his ilk or acolytes talk, remember that phrase. Rules for thee, but not for we. We meaning the elites, the top 1%ers, the millionaire class or whatever. The people that are giving the rules for you guys to be ruled because we are the rulers. Thanks for taking the time to watch, folks. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasir. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us. I'll leave you with my final thought, which is, when you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.